Yeah, good evening. That in this session, we are going to start about Java's concept. So let us see some basics about the JavaScript in this session, and later on we will cover more topics. Let us start with a simple question: what is JavaScript? You may hear that name. So let us try to understand what is this actually. JavaScript is one of the programming languages. You may hear different type of the programming languages names like C, CPP, Java, JavaScript, .NET, Python, and so on. Ada. All these are programming languages. Like that, JavaScript also a programming language. And it is a dynamic computer programming language. What is mean by dynamic? For example, if you have a website, a website may contain a static pages and dynamic pages also. Let me give the clarity first. What is static page and what is dynamic page? For example, if you are trying to read news using any particular website, news related website, that is called static web page. What does it mean is the website displays some text, some news. You can read it. You cannot interact with that. That type of the web pages are called static web pages. Whatever the content the web page has, you can read it. That's it. You may not ask the questions, you may not interact it, you may not give any input to that. Just what the content that page has, you can read it. That type of the pages are called static web pages. Generally, HTML is used to develop the static web pages. Then what is JavaScript? If you want to give dynamic nature to the HTML pages, then you can go for the JavaScript. Generally, if you think about the web developers, the web developer must know three things. First one is HTML, JavaScript, CSS. These three are compulsory to learn if you want to settle as a web developer. So if you want to give the dynamic nature to the HTML pages, you can use JavaScript programming language. What is mean by dynamic? Let me give a simple example to understand that. For example, if you want to see the results of your exam, so you can visit the URL related to your university, and that web page may have the design like enter your hall ticket number and submit. So when you entered your hall ticket number in the text box and clicked on the submit button, then automatically a result page will be displayed there. Generally, what you find this type of the scenario in the real life. So here you are giving some input. Based on the input, the output is produced and that is going to be displayed on the web page. So this is called dynamic nature. Based on the input, the content may be changed. Suppose if you enter another hall ticket number, you will get the result of that particular hall ticket number. So this is called dynamic nature. Okay. Time to time, the content will be changed based on your input. So if you want to set this type of the dynamic nature to your web page, you must use JavaScript. Okay. So that is the meaning of dynamic computer programming language. It is lightweighted and most commonly used part of the web pages. As I said to you, this is generally used to work with the web applications. And one of the important feature of the JavaScript is to interact and user make dynamic pages. That is what I covered just now. Okay, if you want to interact with the web page, interact in the sense you can give some input that you may get output, and you can ask one more question or one more input. Depending on that, you will get another output and so on. So this is dynamic page nature. You can incorporate this type of the dynamic nature to the web page with help of the JavaScript. JavaScript is a interpreted programming language. So I think you may hear the word translators. Whenever you are trying to learn any programming language, every programming language internally uses some translators, where the translators are used to translate your high-level code, your source code, into machine understandable format. Whatever the code we have written by using C, CPP, Java, Python, PHP, JavaScript, that could not be understood by the machine. Machine can understood only zeros and ones. So your program, your source code must be translated into the machine code to understand. That's why we use different type of the translators. We have three types of the translators called compiler, interpreter, and assembler. In JavaScript, the JavaScript uses interpreter as a translator. When you write the program, with help of the interpreter, the JavaScript code is translated into machine understandable format. That's why this JavaScript is also called interpreted programming language. As we are using interpreter as a translator. That's why it is called interpreted programming language. It provides object-oriented features. So if you want to say any programming language as a JavaScript, that must provide some features like class, object, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and so on. If any programming language provides these features, we can say that that programming language is a object-oriented programming language. So here JavaScript provides these features. That's why it is also called as an object-oriented programming language. It has object-oriented capabilities. It provides object-oriented features. Then what are the advantages Java provides? It helpful to developing a great front-end applications as well as back-end applications by using the different JavaScript-based frameworks like jQuery, Node.js. What is front-end? So with which user can interact? With which page user is interacting? That page is called front-end application or front-end pages. Okay. Suppose you have an application in your mobile. You may have seen some menus, buttons, labels, and so on. Those are called front end designing. Back end means it's server side. Suppose if you want to maintain the data in the server, if you want to run the query at the back end, at the server, that is called backend. What happening behind the software, behind the application is called backend. Okay, so we can develop front end and back end applications using the JavaScript. By default, JavaScript is used to implement front end applications for the client validations. If you want to use backend software, the JavaScript as a backend software, you can use other frameworks like jQuery and Node.js. By using these frameworks, you can use JavaScript as a software for the backend. And how to install this JavaScript and how to execute the programs using the JavaScript. Very important point is you no need to install any software. You no need to download or install any software to execute JavaScript programs. You need not to set any special environment to execute these programs because a browser is enough to execute HTML or JavaScript related programs. Obviously, when you install operating system in your computer or laptop, by default you will get one browser. Like suppose if you install Windows operating system, you will get Microsoft Edge by default. That is a web browser of Microsoft. So any one of the web browser, if you have in your system, that is enough to execute JavaScript programs. So the web browsers like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Netscape Navigator, and so on. All these are supports JavaScripts. So if you have any one of these browser, you can execute JavaScript code. Then what are the applications of the JavaScript programming? Let us know. Client-side validation. We can use JavaScript for the client-side validations. What is the meaning of client-side validation? For example, if you are trying to create a new password to any web page, any website, or any application, suppose if I use 3 characters for my password, that may raise an error. Generally, you may find this type of the scenario in your life also. Okay. Password length is too small. Okay. You may observe this type of the error because that particular app or website suggests you to maintain at least 6 to 8 length character password. So this is called a client-side validation. This is one of the examples for the client-side validations. At the client side, in this case, client means a browser. The general definition for the word client is with which you are sending the request to the server is a client. Coming to the web applications, by using the web browser, we can send the request to the server. So client is a web browser in the web applications. So before submitting or before generating the password at the client side, at the browser side only, we are using JavaScript to validate the length of the password. This is called client side validations. Then manipulating HTML pages. We can use JavaScript along with the HTML pages, along with the HTML code. And if you have any elements in the HTML page, we can manipulate that. We can update the data also with help of the JavaScript. We can add and delete any HTML tags. User notifications with help of the JavaScript, we can raise some pop-ups, some boxes simply. Some pop-up boxes we can generate with help of the JavaScript. I will show you that in the coming sessions, how to generate pop-ups, how to generate alert buttons, alert boxes. Okay, how to get a message box, how to create with help of the JavaScript. We will learn it in the coming sessions. I will show you that on. So here, as of now, just remember with help of the JavaScript, we can create the user notifications related actions also. Backend and data loading, depending on the time, depending on the requirement, the required part of the page also we can change, not the complete page. Suppose if you want to update a part of the page also, we can update it. We can load a uh, relevant data to particular web page by using the advanced technologies like Ajax. So that is also advantage of the JavaScript. JavaScript also provides the facility of creating presentations, which gives a website's very rich look and feel. For this, generally we use Reveal.js and Bespoke.js libraries. With the help of this, we can create a good looking websites. The website has a good rich look. Okay. Then server applications with the help of the some frameworks like Node.js, where we are using JavaScript, we can develop server applications. Then how to write a JavaScript code, how to execute JavaScript code. I will show you a sample example to you to understand how to write and execute JavaScript code. Here we have the two ways. We can write JavaScript as a part of the HTML code or as a separate file. Okay, we can embed JavaScript code in the HTML code. Method one. Second method is we can write a JavaScript code as a separate file and we can attach it to the HTML at the runtime. These are the two methods we have to execute the JavaScript code. Now, let us discuss these one by one. See this code. This is actually HTML code. It is better if you have the prerequisite knowledge about the HTML. HTML is one of the hypertext markup language, which is used to create static web pages, as I said just now. We are using tags in the HTML. Tag is nothing but start with less than symbol, ends with greater than symbol, one tag name, one word. Okay, this notation is called tag. This notation is called tag. So this is called HTML tag. Less than, HTML, greater than. This is an HTML tag. Okay. Now, see HTML. Within that, we have several tags, predefined tags like HTML, body tag, head tag, and so on. So, if you want to write JavaScript, you can write anywhere in the HTML code, in the body part or head part or anywhere. But suggestible method is you can write it head part or body part. Now, within the body part, see this is the body tag. Within the body tag, I am writing the JavaScript code. How to write JavaScript code within the HTML code. So within the body tag, use script tag less than script. The tag name is script. And here the language is an attribute. Language is an attribute. The value of this language is what is the language we are using here. That is the name of that programming language. So here we are using JavaScript now. So JavaScript becomes the value for this attribute. So that's why you must write language assignment JavaScript. JavaScript must be within the double quotation marks. Next, type is called another attribute, and the value for the type is text or JavaScript. You must write like this only, text slash JavaScript. But in the latest versions of the browsers, you no need to write this language and type. These are optional. Okay. You must know it. In somewhere, if you find this type of the code, don't confused. This is also valid code, but this is the old style. Okay. Without writing the language attribute and type attribute also, we can execute the JavaScript code in the recent versions. In the latest versions, we can execute it. But I am showing here to make you clear there some points. Okay. Then, if you want to print something on the screen, nothing but output statement. We have several output statements in the JavaScript like console.log or document.write. So in this example, I am using document.write. Document.write hello world. So this is the code which is used to print hello world on the screen if you execute this code. And all the tags, whatever you open, you must close those in the reverse order. So last to open the tag is script na, close the script tag. Before that body tag. So close the body tag. How to close? Just use forward slash after the less than symbol. So this is open HTML tag. This is open tag for the HTML. And this is the closing tag of the HTML. Just to be added forward slash. So this is body open tag and this is the closing tag of the body tag like that. Okay. So let me show you the code and execution. For example, now see what you need to do if you want to execute the code in your system. Just right click, go to any location, right click, new text document. Let me repeat, go to any location, okay, or create any folder as per your requirement. Right click, new text document. Click on that. Then a text document will be created. Open that text document, write the code what I have shown to you just now. Okay. And already I have written that. Right. Okay. Open any text editor and write this code. HTML tag, body tag, script type equals to text or JavaScript, optional, and within that document dot write hello world. Then script close, body close, HTML close. Write this code as this. After that, go to file, click on save as. Click on save as. Select the location where you want to save your file and give the file name dot HTML is compulsory. HTML or HTM also valid. Okay. HTML or HTM. File name dot HTML or HTML, and in the save as type, select all files. Okay. In this select all files, if you are using notebook, if you are using notepad, if you are using notepad plus plus, directly it will take as a hypertext of markup language. If you are using a normal notepad, you must select save as type all files. Then click on save. Okay. When you click on the save button, go to the same location, you can observe this type of the icon, browser icon. What is the default browser in your system? That browser icon will be displayed there. Okay, this is your file. Your file icon is changed as default browser icon in your system. So currently in my system, my default browser is Microsoft Edge. That's why a Microsoft Edge icon is displaying here. Then how to execute the code? Very simple. Just double click on this. I double clicked on that and it is open in the browser. Now see. So this is the output of that code. That's it. Okay. This is how to write and execute JavaScript code. Let me repeat the steps. Go to any location, take a text document and write the code. Save with the .html or .htm format and save it in a particular location. Double click on that created file. The program will be executed. And let me tell you some more points about this. Here, we are writing JavaScript code within the HTML file, right? This is actual HTML code. Within that, I am writing the JavaScript code. This is one method. Second method we can write a JavaScript code separately as a separate file, and you can add that JavaScript code to the HTML code at runtime by using some attributes like source attribute SRC. I will show you that also. Observe here. See, again, what you need to do, right click, new text document and open the text document. And within that, just write this code. Document dot write. If you want to add script tag, that is also valid. Document dot write hello world from script.js file, because script.js is this file name. For easy understanding, I am writing the text like this. Okay. From this file, I want to print this text. I want to print this text as a result of the HTML code. Step one, I am creating JavaScript file. We need to create two files here. First JavaScript file, write the JavaScript code. For simplicity, just I am writing one statement, document.write hello world. But to differentiate the text, I am writing this is text from the script.js file. Hello world from script.js. Okay. Then go to file. After opening the text document, write the code, click on file, save as, select some location, give some name. In this example, I am giving the name script.js. Okay, script.js. If you are using simple notepad, save as type, click on save as type and select all files. Or if you are using notepad plus plus, by default, it takes as a JavaScript file when you type to .js. Then click on save. Okay. Then after clicked on the button save, go to that location. You may find this type of the icon. Now see, S script file, JavaScript file. So this contains pure JavaScript code, not HTML code. Okay. Then next, second step. Step one is writing the JavaScript code in a separate file and store it, save it with the .js format. Then again, in the same location, right click, new text document and open the text document and write this code. Open the text document and write this code. See, doc type HTML. This is the latest version of the code, HTML5 code. So it is suggestible to write this doc type HTML. Then browser can easily understand and easily render the code. Okay. Then HTML head part. Within the head part, I am writing the title. Title will be displayed at the uh, corner at the heading. Okay, I will show that where the title will be displayed at the time of the execution. You are giving title to the web page. Okay, at the time of the execution, that will be displayed in the tab. Okay, then head close, then body part. Within the body part, I am writing hello world. I want to print this in a big size. For that, I am using heading tag H1. H1 means heading tag, very large one, large size. H1, H2, H3, all these are called heading tags. Okay. Now, here the important point is eighth statement is important. Observe here in the body part, I am writing the JavaScript code. To write the JavaScript code, I am using script tag, script tag, src source assignment. You need to give the value. That value should be your JavaScript file name. Just now we have written a JavaScript file na, with the name script.js. You can give any name, but you must give that name here, that file name. Okay. src assignment script.js. At the runtime, this HTML code will be connected to the script.js code and that JavaScript code also will be executed. After that, closing the script tag and closing the body tag, closing the HTML tag. Okay. And after writing this code, again click on file, save as, give any name, .html. Remember, this is HTML file, not pure JavaScript code. So type .html or HTML. Okay. And if you are using Notepad, save as type. Click here and select all files. Here I'm using Notepad++. Directly when you type .html, it recognizes as hypertext markup language file. Okay. Then click on Save button. So when you click on the Save button, you can observe this type of the file in that location. Where you saved that file in that location, you observe that web browser icon. Okay. Now observe clearly. Double click on this icon. Then that will be executed in the browser. So this is the output of this code. Observe clearly. Hello world. Hello world from JavaScript, that is script.js file. Why we are getting these hello worlds and from where we are getting these two texts? So you must understand here. So this is HTML file now. In this HTML file and title, I will show the title. So actually here the title will be displayed. See now, my first JavaScript. This is the title, right? My first JavaScript. So that will be displayed here. Tab name. Okay. Observe here. So title tag is used to give the name for your web pages. That title will be displayed in this position. Then next, in the body part, heading I am writing hello world. Okay. So the result of this seventh statement is this one. Okay. Hello world. This is heading tag we are using. That's why that is printed in a large size with bold. Heading, just like a heading. Okay. So the result of seventh statement is this hello world. Next, come to the eighth statement. Script tag. Nothing but we are writing JavaScript code. Here, we are not writing the complete JavaScript code in this HTML code. Rather, we have written that JavaScript code in another file and we are giving that another file name, that JavaScript file name here with help of the attribute source. Source called an attribute src. The name is src, meaning is source. We need to supply that file name. We need to give that JavaScript code file name. Okay. So at runtime, it connects to the JavaScript code. What we have written in the JavaScript code, just now we have seen. Let me open that also once again. See, in the JavaScript code, we have written this code. Document.write hello world from script.js file. So this is going to connect to the JavaScript file and this is executed. And that's why you are getting this text hello world from the script.js file. So this is the output of for that statement. Okay. So for the eighth statement, this is being executed, connected to the script.js file. Script.js file code is evaluated, and the output of this eighth statement is hello world from the script.js file. Then body close HTML code. So finally, you will get this output. Okay, this is the second method. Okay, in the first method, we have written the script code directly in the HTML file. We are maintaining only single file. In the second method, we are maintaining two files. One is JavaScript file and another is HTML file. We are writing pure JavaScript code in one file and writing the HTML code in another file. In the HTML code, we are writing the script tag and giving the link to the script code. Okay. So I think it is clear now. So let me tell you some more points about the JavaScript. So already we cover this. JavaScript can be implemented using the JavaScript statements that are placed within the code, within the tag script tag. We need to write the JavaScript code within the script tag we have seen just now. And you can place this script tag anywhere in the web page, anywhere in the HTML page, but it is recommended to write in the head part. Okay. And the script tag alerts the web browser program to start interpreting all the text between these tags as a script. Nothing but when the browser identifies the script tag, it is going to evaluate the script code. It is going to identify there is some script code. As I covered already, the attributes, language, and type are optional. In the latest versions of the HTML and JavaScript, no one is using these two. Suppose if you want to use, you can. You won't get any error. That will also will be executed without any errors. But these are phase out, outdated. Then white spaces and line breaks. JavaScript ignores spaces, tabs, and new lines that appear in the JavaScript code. If you give any spaces, or if you are giving, if you are creating space using tabs, or if you are writing any code by giving any new lines, that will not be treated as a problem. JavaScript ignores that. Okay. So we can easily write the program. You can feel free to write the program. Don't bother about the spaces, new line creations, and so on. And coming to the semicolon in C, C++, Java, that is mandatory. Every statement must end with a semicolon. If you missed semicolon in C language, that raises an error. So this is same as in C++, Java also. But coming to the JavaScript, it is optional. If you want to write, you can. Otherwise, without writing the semicolon also, JavaScript code will be executed. See this code? Here we have two statements. Variable 1 assignment 10, variable 2 assignment 20. I have the two variables and storing 10 and 20 respectively in those two variables, but I am not writing semicolon at the end of this statement because semicolon is optional. But one more important point is, suppose if you want to write two statements in a single line, in such cases, writing the semicolon is compulsory. Okay. Variable 1 assignment 10 is one statement. Variable 2 is equals to 20 is another statement. But if you want to write those two instructions, two statements in a single line, in such cases, writing the semicolon is compulsory. Otherwise, it raises an error. Okay. So, but it is suggestible to write every statement in the new line. That gives good readability. Then coming to the case sensitive, as C language, this is also a case sensitive programming language. C, C++, Java, those are also case sensitive programming languages. This means the language keywords, variables, function names, identifier names, nothing but variable names, functions names, all are lowercase letters. Okay, if you use lowercase letters, that has a different meaning. If you use uppercase letter for the same wording, that has a different meaning. Okay. For example, if you have the variable name time, and if you create another variable name time, where completely all the characters are in the capital letters, where in the first time T only capital letter, remaining all are in lowercase letters. So this time is completely different from this time. Okay, not equal. So this is how JavaScript treats internally. Okay, that's why we must take care while giving the name to the variables or functions. Then how to write the comments in the JavaScript. So in C language, we use double forward slashes to write a single line statement. If you want to write multi-line comment lines, you can start the line with forward slash star, and at the end you need to write star forward slash. Like that, in the same concept, we can apply for the JavaScript also. If you want to write a single line comment, you can use double forward slashes. If you want to write the comment line in multiple lines, that comment should be started with forward star star, and at the last statement, you must ends with star forward slash. This is how to write multi-line comment lines in JavaScript. See this script language type optional. If you want to write, you can. So this is single line statement. I want to write a statement. I want to make that statement as a comment. For that, we use double forward slashes because I want to make a single line as a comment line. Now this single line will be ignored. This won't be executed. Okay. This statement won't be executed. Suppose if you want to write multi-line comment lines, multiple lines. See here, forward slash star starts with, ends with star forward slash. And write the comment lines, how many lines you want to write. This is how to write multiple comment lines and close the script. Okay. As I covered, you can write JavaScript in head section or body section or as an external file also. Okay, we have seen just now. Just now we have written the script.js code as a separate file, and we give the link that JavaScript code file to HTML. So when you are trying to execute that HTML code at the runtime, the JavaScript code will be attached to the HTML and that will be executed. Then we covered all these already. Next topic is data types. So very simple. If you have the knowledge about any programming language like C, C++, Java, we have the concept of data types. Here also same thing. There is no change theoretically. Data types, the concept is used to store different type of the values. This is a fundamental topic in all programming languages. What are the different type of the values can we store? That is depends on the data type. So in the JavaScript also, we can store different type of the values. It supports three different type of the primitive data types. Those are, we can store numbers, strings, and Boolean values. These three are called primitive data types in JavaScript. In the numbers, 123 integer without pointing values, 120.50 float value. These are the different types of the numbers we can store. Nothing but integer values, float values. String, if you want to store any text, we can store it as a string data type that must be included within the double quotation marks. Boolean data type, it has only two values, true and false in the lowercase letters. And coming to the variables concept, how we have the variables concept in all other programming languages. We have also variable concept in JavaScript, but the difference is here generally in C-based programming languages, we need to declare a variable by using the syntax like data type space variable name. But here, no need to write any data type. Point one, important difference. You should not write any data type here. The second difference is we must use the keyword var variable. We must use the keyword variable var before the variable name declaration. Suppose if you want to declare a variable before that variable name, you must write var. Then only that name is treated as a variable. This is very important difference. You must uh, remember that when comparing to C-based programming languages like C, CPP, Java. In any other programming language of those, we are not using var. Generally, we are using data type space variable name only. But here we are not using data type, but we are using the keyword var to represent variables. See, var, and if you want to declare multiple variables in a single statement, you can declare by using the syntax like var space variable one name, comma, second variable name, comma, third variable name, and so on, and ends with semicolon. Okay. Of course, semicolon is optional if you are writing single statement in the single line. Then, storing a value in a variable is called variable initialization. Variable declaration means just we are giving some variable name. We are not storing any value within that. That is called variable declaration. Whenever you are trying to store some value within that variable, that is called variable initialization. So here I'm trying to assigning some name to the variable name. This is called variable initialization. Here also same thing. The variable money. I'm trying to assigning some value. This is variable initialization. This is only declaration, not storing any value. For that variable money, I am storing the value within the other statement. So these two are valid. In the first case, declaring and initialization in the single statement. For these two, declaring is done in one statement, initialization will be done in another statement. So these two methods are valid. Right. We'll continue some more important points in the next session. Just I will share this document to your head of the department. Just go through the document. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you have computers, try to execute a program with JavaScript embedded with HTML without embedding HTML. Nothing but as part of the HTML method one, and try to write the JavaScript code in a separate file and attach it at the runtime. Two methods I explained to you and I have shown to you already. So by following those two methods, try to execute the code. Then you will get the confident and you will get good knowledge about the JavaScript. Okay, thank you, one and all. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you. Okay, done. Right, this is time to sign up. Right, bye.